This is Enterprise Unleashed, Business Law and Innovation. My name is Richard Corey. This is my show. This is part 2 of the segment with Chopz. He's a multi-level media personality, radio DJ, music producer. You've seen him in several nightclubs. You've heard him on the radio. You've heard him on Spotify. And we're here today to continue our conversation. Casey, thanks for coming on the show, man.
What's up, brother? Thank you for having me.
All right, where we left off in the last segment was you're saying, are the numbers there? What we were talking about is the ratings and how new records they're going to be put on the radio, how they're tested and what flies and what doesn't fly in today's current market. So let's continue right where we left off.
Yeah, so everything is data, everything is numbers. So if you want your song to be added to the radio, things need to research. And radio also looks at Shazams as well. So we can see the top 10 Shazam songs in Miami, in each market, in each city. So radio will look at that as well.
But how are they testing the record? How do they come out and test, especially when there's no real record sales anymore? Everything's streaming, and I mean, how is a new single going to get tested?
For example, radio stations will have like a music meeting every Friday with all the DJs, all the people that want to go to the meeting. And they'll say, look, these song, what's going on in the street, what's happening? And the DJs will be like, this song is working in the street. We need to add this. This song is good for maybe the nighttime. This song is good for maybe the daytime in the afternoon, drive time. This song is Shazamming. So they decide through external factors with Shazam and streaming and people's opinions, which songs they want to test on the radio. Then when they get maybe the 2 songs they want to test per week, they'll throw them in a rotation on the radio and they'll test them. And then after that rotation, they'll get the numbers. And from there, they'll know, okay, people changed the song, people stayed, people went to this station instead, they went to this station instead.
How are we comparing apples to apples? For example, if you put a record on at 8 o'clock in the morning versus at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to have a totally different segment of people listening. You got people on their way to work where the likelihood of listening to the radio is much higher versus right in the middle of the day when people are at work.
Remember, the people are wearing these beepers. So it's going to tell us how much they listened, how long they listened for the song, all the metrics for what they listen to will be.
Oh, so it's actual test, it's an actual testing crowd.
Right.
Okay.
All right. We learn through this little beeper that they wear for, I think it's like 3 months. And Nielsen, which is the ratings company, they pay these people, they send out these beepers and it mirrors the market with demographic, race, all of these things. And then we learn their listening habits. And then specifically we learn what's like how long they listen to the radio, for example, just general listening habits, what times they listen to the radio. Then we know what stations, then we know what songs, we know everything about their listening habits.
All right. So you work in an industry where copyrights, licensing, and contracts, they're all real traps. Have you ever had a moment where having legal knowledge really helped you out or saved you from a potentially big problem?
I've always copywritten my stuff, but to be honest, Rich, I feel like there's so much music coming out every single day, and there's so many remixes now with technology. You can extract any vocal, any acapella, and make any remix to any song. You could take, if you like this person's bongos in their song, you could use technology to strip the bongos and sample it now. Like you can do so much technology-wise.
So I have the pleasure of working with a lot of producers, and we'll go into the studio. I've seen some of the artificial intelligence programs where they'll take a song and throw it in the AI, and it'll already break it down by track, splice it up. You'll have each instrument, each vocal. It's crazy. It sets it up a whole session without even having the session. You take a 2-track and turn it into a session immediately.
You guys as lawyers are about to have your hands full when it comes to this, because what is AI? What is not AI? I used AI to sound like Richard Corey, but it's not really Richard Corey. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's going to get a real blurry soon with all these music laws and copywritten. So the way I work, Rich, maybe a lawyer doesn't want to hear this, but I would rather ask for forgiveness than take all the time and the necessary steps to ask for permission. You know what I'm saying? I would rather, and if the song blows up, then it blows up. And then if you want all of it, take all of it. Now I can go on shows, though. You can't take my ability to tour off the song that I just did, which is where the real money is anyway in touring. You know what I mean? So now,
but I'll tell you right now that you got to be careful. If somebody has a registered copyright and you get hit with the infringement, it's not only the profit disgorgement, you get hit with big monetary penalties. I think it's like $75,000 is the max. It might even be more than that. I have to double check, but it's there's a lot of risk with it. It's not a game
There's a
anymore.
lot going on. There's a lot going on right now with people, bro. People putting remixes, which they don't own the vocal to, right? They don't own the vocal. They're putting remixes on Apple Music, Spotify. There's DJs you're not supposed to be playing copyrighted music. There's DJs putting mixes on Spotify. Like, what is a stream worth? First of all, I don't want to get too um Debbie Downer, but basically all the labels own Spotify. So they're in cahoots. So what is a stream worth? It's wild right now in the music industry, and copyrights and what is copywritten, it's super blurry and super fuzzy.
Well,
Um
you know what's one thing I've noticed too is just like how like people on Instagram they could buy fake followers. It's a big thing now where streams people have bots getting streams. They go and it like listens to the song up to the time it gets their
well,
credit back again and again and again.
I could tell you a story about that. So I put out a song last year, and I had a friend tell me, look, I got a it was a Spanish song, and he's like, I have a record promoter in Colombia. Pay him some money, and he's gonna like do promotion for you, get your streams up. I had a
Okay.
little budget, so I gave him some money. Bam, put that to the side, and then maybe 2 months later, this girl who has one of the biggest dembo playlists on Spotify, she put my song on her playlist, and the streams shot up. So the streams shot up, and now when your streams shoot up, you're on Spotify's radar now, right? And then Spotify looked at the streams and saw that I had, like, bro, thousands and thousands of artificial streams from India. And I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't do. And then I realized that guy that I paid the $200 to was
Yeah.
just using a program to artificially inflate the streams. And I got flagged from Spotify. They took my song on Spotify. They gave me a warning, things of that nature. So that's another thing I would recommend. If you're going to pay someone, make sure you know exactly what they're doing with their service, you know?
Yeah, that's a huge problem for because the world today, the gold rush today is two things: content, media content on social media, and data storage. Those are the two like major gold rushes because they all coincide with artificial intelligence, which is the future of essentially everything. You know, with the a lot of scam artists, and I wouldn't even call it a scam. Well, yeah, it's a scam because what they're doing is promising you real life followers or real life streams, and you're getting bots that are going to get you. Now you're going to violate the terms and conditions of the various social media platforms or music streaming networks. So it's a big problem out there. And there's really no way to police it.
Yeah, yeah. If you go through a middle party, like, you're still responsible for you, like,
Let's talk about with the remixes. You brought that up. So you could take someone's vocal and pitch it up, pitch it down to where it's kind of recognizable, or you could flip it a little bit. And, is that going to, in your opinion, attract the same attention if just like a regular sample where it's, you're just taking somebody's voice where it's clear as day? I mean, do you think there's more leeway there? And I'll tell you the answer, but I want to hear what like from a producer.
as far as remixing someone's vocal and pitching it up so it's not recognized. Well, this is the thing. Like, SoundCloud right now has turned into like that Piff back in the day. SoundCloud is where a lot of where we go to upload our music that's not copywritten, that is not an original song. So we put our stuff there, and then what's good about that is I have a friend where he put his song there, it blew up on SoundCloud, and he had the Dom Dollar played his song, and then now you say I'm supported by Dom Dollar, Tiesto's playing my music. It could be a remix, but now you're getting traction in the market based off a song that you don't even own the rights to. Kind of like how mixtapes were back in the day for rappers.
Sure. And I know you've done mixtapes over the years just working in Miami. It's, one of the mixtape capitals of the country, aside from maybe Atlanta and New York.
Yeah, man. So now I just try to, like, every month drop a remix and every month drop an original. That's kind of like what my goal is, more or less, like, drop some cool bootlegs, remixes for DJs, and if people want to, for their leisure listening, they could do that as well. The regular consumer, and go on SoundCloud, but it's
Mhm.
mostly for DJs. It's mostly for DJs, to be honest. But then, yeah, bro, and then have your originals, which you don't want to have any issues
you've worked in rooms of a couple hundred people to up to a couple thousand. Like first, what's the biggest crowd you've performed in front of as a DJ, a host, a MC?
The biggest crowd, I would say, just festivals, you know. I opened for Kendrick Lamar. That was a huge crowd. I DJ'd at the stadium for Hurricanes games. Those were pretty big crowds.
Sure.
Yeah, I would say those, aside from clubs, like big room clubs, like Mansion and Live and big room clubs like that, I would say festivals and like football games and stuff like that.
As far as the energy, because when you're up on stage, is there a big difference in the energy when you have, even if you have a smaller room, but the people are dancing? Does it make a difference in how the success you feel for the evening?
To me, it's way easier to DJ for a lot of people than it is to DJ for a small amount of people. And then the energy you receive back, bro, is like a drug. It's
Sure.
crazy. If you're doing a festival, if you're doing a big room club like Live, whatever, and you put the volume down and everyone's singing the words and you're controlling that energy, it's in a whole big room. You're the creator of that energy. You're the controller of that energy. It's a drug, bro. And that's why I think a lot of these big artists, they just lose their mind and stuff because they're trying to chase that high of performing, which is, I would imagine it's like a dopamine spike, like if it was like a hardcore drug, and you
Sure.
can't get that dopamine spike really anywhere else, so it's tough, man. It's tough. When you do that, everything else seems a little low.
In your personal experience and in just dealing with several major artists from around the world over the course of your career, what are some of the problematic terms in contracts or publishing that you've seen that have kind of stuck out with you?
As far as like contractually,
Yeah, just like
like,
like example, when you go and you're going to do a gig, what are some of the things that you're going to look out for in a contract, or you're just going to send it to me?
yeah, bro. I'm just sending it to you. If it's a simple, if it's something simple, I could, you know, look, as long as I know I'm not committing to something for too long, then if this is something that has like a longer commitment attached to it, I'm gonna send it to you. But if it's something that, Rich, to be honest with you, man, a lot of this is just verbal, I hate to say it, but it's like street
Yeah.
business, bro. A lot of it is just street business. But yeah, like if I want to work somewhere, I can't have all these clients and all these venues signing contracts. You know what I mean?
Well, you
It's
definitely
it's
don't
it,
want you want to look out for exclusivity. You want to look out for any kind of liability clauses, indemnification clauses, things like that. But I see a lot of issues where artists and producers and they're all having a real hard time with publishing because there's little tiny like fine print in their contracts, and I'm sure you're aware there's publishing is out of 200%. You have 100% of the writer's share and 100% of the publisher's share. So people
right,
don't realize like, oh, they're getting 10% of the publishing. What that should mean is they're getting 20%. But a
right.
lot of people don't realize the mechanics and the distinguishment between what's what, and they get themselves in a situation where they're not making nearly as much money as they could be.
Right, right. I mean, generally, bro, I'm a guy who's really pro independence. I'm really anti-label. I'm really anti these big companies. So I try to do things on my own, and then I'll delegate work to, maybe I'll hire this guy to do this, from hire this guy to do this. And I had a big placement this year. But aside from that, like I don't really deal with like if the contract entails me being committed to something for a long time, then I will send it out to you or to lawyers.
Okay.
But yeah,
I want to talk a little bit about Miami on the Rocks. Tell me what's going on with that.
I started it during the pandemic in 2020, and we've been making some noise. And like I said, I'm all type of genres and all type of aspects of life pull me. So I'm very interested and inquisitive about everything, bro. So my podcast doesn't really have a niche. I'm kind of like a Joe Rogan in the sense where I'll have like a producer on one week, a bartender on the next week, a real estate agent on the next week, a lawyer on the. There's no like I just like talking to people, so there's no real niche to it. We made Miami New Times top 10 podcasts from Miami. Um, but I would say that I generally go in waves. Like sometimes I'm ramped up and I'm doing every week, bang, bang, bang. And sometimes I ramp it down and I'm doing once a month, depending on where I'm at in life. But we're actually looking at a new sponsorship deal to be able to allow me to be committed to this weekly. So once, more money is coming in, I'm gonna ramp it back up. But yeah, that's my baby, bro. That's my baby. I do performative. The thing is, everyone has a microphone in front of their face now, so it's very oversaturated. So
Sure.
I kind of only want to do something when I know it's gonna be impactful, because you start to realize, like, you do all this editing, you do all this stuff, you spend money, and I tell people that are doing a podcast, like, if you're not going to commit to 4 years of doing a podcast, don't even start, because this is a long play. You have to find a way to just streamline it every week, be consistent. I was every week for 3 years, and then, it started slowing down, and then
Well,
that's
look,
when
I
it went
just
up. And
started Enterprise Unleashed. It's been about 2 months. You're going to be episode 8, I believe. But I'm having a ball with this, and I'm learning a
yeah,
lot from everyone because I'm getting a very different perspective on different things. Like, I could give the legal aspect, but to get the real world perception, the real world experience that you've gone through, it's the law of relativity. You don't know it unless you do it. So
right.
I want to ask you a couple fun questions. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
Oh, wow. The best advice I've ever gotten. um
Got
There's
you
so
on
many
that
things
one.
yeah, there's so many things that come to mind. I mean, yeah, the other day, just because it was at the top of my mind the other day, and I said it to my girl, and it's just, I tell it to people, but I always tell them to be smart when they're being stupid. That is one thing. What else? Man, there's so much, bro. Yeah, man, just the long run. Just stay consistent. Consistency beats those big spikes in anything you do. You don't want to chase those big
Yeah.
spikes. You want to just be consistent over time. So,
Well, look,
so
you got
yes.
to actively pursue excellence. You know that's my motto. That's my brand. Even my law practice. It's Richard Corey Enterprise Law. It's the
Mhm.
definition of enterprise is systematic, purposeful activity directed towards a strategic objective. So we are absolutely in agreement on that. I got another one for you. What's one myth about DJs, content, being a recognizable brand that you'd like to bust right now for our audience? Any myths? Hey, there's something out here that only you can answer, and let's do some myth busting.
Myth busting. A myth. I guess. I mean, it's not all like, like rainbow. I don't know it's not
Yeah,
all rainbow. It's not all rainbows and hoes. Like it's not all what it's cracked up to be all the time. It takes a lot of work, a lot of daytime stuff. A lot of time the people only see the glamour of the club and the girls and the drinks and but it's a lot of, in the daytime, it's a lot of work, bro. It's a
yeah.
lot
Well,
of.
a lot of people don't see it. Like people see what you show them, but they don't see the hours and hours and years of work that goes into getting to where the years of work that it takes to get into like where you are now. A lot of
And
that is
now,
behind
bro,
the
and
scenes.
now it's so oversaturated. Everybody's a DJ now, bro. So it's like, now it's a more you doing the due diligence, making the phone calls and trying to. It's just, it's an over competitive market, so you have to, you know, put in way more now.
All right. A couple final questions. If you could copyright one perfect moment in your career, what would that be, even if it hasn't occurred yet?
I could copyright a moment. What do you mean, like that?
Like just like
Copyright?
freeze frame it. This belongs to you. It's yours.
Damn, bro, I'm drawing blanks on these things. Copyright a moment.
Bottle it up.
Man,
It belongs to you. Now this is something you have forever. Like for
the,
me, I
the,
haven't done it yet. I don't even know what it is, but I just know that everything I've done in my career, I've been very blessed. I'm aiming
Mhm.
for bigger and better things. So that moment for me is yet to come.
Right. That's how I feel. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And,
Okay.
and, pe- and people always say, like, what is your goal? What are you? To me, I just look at myself like an NBA player, and I'm just trying to increase my stats. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get more rebounds, trying to get more points, like, and just do what I'm doing, but put more on top of it, increase my stats.
where do you see yourself? Like, what's on the next like year, 2 year, 3 year plan? I know you're releasing records, you're working like crazy, you're making moves all over the place. So you're also expanding your brand outreach. So where do you see yourself in the next coming years?
Rich, that's a really good question. And I don't think anyone in this industry can answer that question right now because things are shifting and changing so drastically with the business, with AI, with hospitality, with the Miami market in general is struggling. So I don't think any of us can really picture ourselves in three. The business models, the things that we are, privy to now, it's going to be completely different in 3 years. Like the way doctors work is going to be different in 3 years with AI, like the way you were. So I can't even conceptualize it because and it hasn't happened. That's one of the, I'll be honest with you, Rich, that's one of the scary things that like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. We're just going through a dark tunnel and it's hard. All I could do
And
is make
nobody has
music.
any idea where this is going to go.
All I can do is just make music, put it out, and keep working as much as I can
Keep
and fill
working.
that calendar up, and see if I can come up with some ideas in regards to AI to offers different type of services and type, but clubs are still going to happen even though they're struggling. People are going to be getting married. Events are always going to be happening. People are always going to need music. But I mean, I don't know if you saw Apple just released their Apple Music feature that can mix songs or Spotify that can blend songs like a DJ can. It does it with AI.
You do it
So
right. Wow. Yeah. So the whole consumer base has access to it.
exactly. So I don't even know how to answer that question, bro. All I'm it's a lot of faith. It's a lot of faith and praying and just working hard and putting things out and hoping for the best.
All right. Well, look, I've been talking about collabing with you for a long time. We definitely need to get into the studio together and have some fun.
Let's do it, bro.
Look, I want to thank you for being on here today. We've had a lot of fun. We're running out of time, but we're going to definitely get you on again, and we're going to be working together in the near future too, buddy.
Rich, I love your grind, bro. I love everything you do. We've known each other for a long time and the respect is there, bro. So I'm here whenever you need me. Let's do it. I'm ready to go.
All right, my man. Thank you very much. That's the end of the episode. Thank you all.